What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great Sunday. Listen to some Akai Katana music. What the hell is that? This is a Bullet Hell exclusive to the 360. Well, no, not really. No longer exclusive. I think it was remastered, or it got an enhanced port on modern console, Switch, PS4, something like that. Well, I originally played it on 360. So what's up, everybody? Great music, huh? You know, you can dislike shoot 'em ups all you want, but you can't deny they're full of amazing music, man. Not all of them. There are some that have boring music, believe it or not. There are some shoot 'em ups that are like, the music is kind of meh. But I've always felt that the music needs to be very important in a shoot 'em up, precisely because that's what you do most of the time. Half of the time, I think music is half of the game when it comes to shoot 'em ups. Nobody gives a fuck about shoot 'em ups, so let's move on with your goddamn questions. But I just want to get that out of my system. Do you think Muramasa Demon Blade will ever get a current generation port? Well, we gotta understand this is Vanillaware we're talking about, and they did release Odin Sphere on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita and PS3 back in the day. But it did get a PS4 release. It did not get a Switch release. I don't know why. I think the Switch, I've been saying this for years, man, since 2019, 2020. I've been saying that Odin Sphere could easily benefit from being on the Nintendo Switch. That will be like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they port Odin Sphere or Dragon's Crown to the Switch? So they got a PS4 port, even though these games were originally released for previous consoles, previous generations. But now they got ported to the PlayStation 4, and they're not on Switch, but okay, 13 Sentinels got a release on Switch. Why can't they port Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown? And then they released Grim Grimoire last year. Amazing real-time strategy game. Some RPG elements in there. This is a game that got the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 treatment. Though I'm not sure if it was released on Switch. Let me check it out. Yes, it was released on Switch. So, Switch, right? So, Grim Grimoire is on Switch. 13 Sentinels is on Switch. And PS4 and PS5. PS4 only. So, the first question is, why can't they release their games on the Switch? Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown. And then the second question is, why can't they port Muramasa the Demon Blade to anything? It's just there on PS Vita and Wii, and that's it. And nowadays, no one seems to care about those systems. Unfortunately, hard as I try, I try my hardest to make people care about them, especially the PS Vita. But it's like people don't care, man. What can I say, man? It's Vanillaware. That's Vanillaware for you. And obviously the biggest question is, why can't they port their games to Steam? Why? Not a single one of them. Maybe George Kamitani is a console puritan, like I am. I don't know, if I was an enterprise, even if I'm not gonna play games on Steam, even if I don't play games on my computer, you know, I will port, or I will release my games on Steam. Because there's a lot of money to be made in there, so why can't they release their games on PC? That's the big question here, right? Forget about Muramasa or which specific title, you know. Every single Vanillaware game is not on PC. That's just dumb. That's just a stupid business decision, man, not releasing your games on Steam. But I don't know. Maybe these games are very console programmed, and it will be a huge pain in the ass to port them to Steam or to adapt them to the Steam controls. I don't think so, but I don't know. I have no idea why they don't port their games on Steam or PC. Beats me, man. It just seems like a dumb decision. But Muramasa, to answer your question, do I think Muramasa the Demon Blade will ever get a current generation port? Yes, I have hopes, maybe not high hopes, but I think probably they will port it someday, because every single one of their games, yeah, every single one of their games is available for at least one modern system. Dragon's Crown, PS4 at least. Odin's Sphere, PS4 at least. Green Grimoire, everywhere. 13 Sentinels, PS4 and Switch. So, what's missing? Muramasa the Demon Blade. Yeah, I'd like to think that we'll get a port to modern systems of that game one day. It definitely needs one. Especially if it gets the Green Grimoire treatment. PS4, PS5 and Switch. But when will they release their games on PC? I don't know, man. Who is the... come on, JA, what kind of question is that? Thanks to your last Hidden Gems video, I found and bought Cosmic Star Heroine for less than $2 on Steam. You're welcome, I hope you enjoy the game, that's a great game. Are you going to do another video about the worst RPGs on Metacritic? No, I already did one and I covered all of the worst JRPGs on Metacritic, so... What I would like to do one of these days is the opposite, you know, like the best JRPGs according to Metacritic. That might happen. But another one of the worst by Metacritic? No. Grand Knight's History. Well, Grand Knight's History didn't sell very well in Japan. It's a pretty unusual game. It's one of those games that isn't exactly story-driven. It's mostly quest-driven. I don't think it will ever get released overseas, but if it does, hopefully it will come also on PlayStation 4, 5, or Switch at least. You know, that would be great. But that's a pretty obscure game, and... well, let alone the obscurity of it, I think it's a game most people won't be able to get into. If it was up to NIS America, you know, they will definitely remaster it or port it because they don't care. You know, but Atlas is, well, this is vanilla where we're talking about, and they have highest standards, apparently. So, Grand Knight's History, I don't see it coming never overseas, but who knows, I could be wrong. Princess Crown, you know, we've already discussed that one too. Hopefully it will be released one day, but that's up to Atlus. That wasn't Vanillaware. I don't think control mapping is an issue for a game like Muramasa. Nothing is an issue, to be honest, with that game. It has no reason not to be released on modern systems. People want everything on modern systems. I think it's because the... we talked about this before. I think it's because the... well, it wasn't the same anymore. 5 years ago, you could still buy a lot of retro games and retro consoles for an affordable price. And nowadays, you can't. And even though a lot of retro games and consoles have come down in price... I mean, I remember seeing the Wii. A freaking Wii, white Wii, you know, selling for $80. That was like crazy. $80, you know, that's not a lot of money, you know, but still, $80, you know. I think it's come down to its usual 50 or 60, right? But, yeah, the same cannot be said about Muramasa either version. I think the PS Vita version used to be like $30, $40 at max. The Wii version, same, $20, $25, $30, you know. And then the pandemic happened and prices shot up insanely, and I don't even know how much that goes for nowadays. Let's check it out. Price charting. While you guys listen to this amazing soundtrack, one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. That's not an RPG. Turtles in Time. Let's check it out. The Wii version, the PAL version sells for $50 complete in box. That's insane. PAL versions, 9 out of 10 times are usually cheaper. 9 out of 10 times. I know the Persona games on PS2 are far more expensive. But yeah, the Wii version says here that it sells for $33. And this is price charting. So that's probably around $40. You will probably find this game for like between $30 and $40 in retro stores. But however, what about the best version of this game to play, which is Muramasa Rebirth? which is a remaster of the Wii version. This sells for 65. Complete in box. 65, that's a lot of money, man. That's over 1,000 Mexican pesos, and that's just dumb. So you see what I mean? Prices did come down in price. They've come down in price for the past couple of years, especially since last year. I started to see a decrease in last year. We talked about this before. I remember seeing Suikoden 5 on the PS2 for $150 2-3 years ago. And nowadays it's not even $100. Sure, it's still like $80, $90, but it's still freaking expensive, but it's still a little bit more affordable. So, my point is, despite some retro games being more affordable than they were before 2-3 years ago during the pandemic, they're still expensive. And no one wants to pay, not many people are willing to pay $65 for Muramasa on the PS Vita, when they can just patiently wait for a remaster on PS4 or Switch and eventually get it for $40 or $30, right? Which is going to be cheaper. So that's why people want every single video game in existence ported to modern systems. Erick says, I am tired of RPGs and video games in general. Maybe someday my interest in turn-based games will return. Okay. Don't you think that this remake remaster trend is getting tiring? Very tiring, but I just gave you one big reason why, despite being tiring, they should kind of continue. And especially, that's the first reason. Prices. And availability is another reason. But another big reason is that a lot of retro games didn't age very well, and they could easily benefit from a remaster or a remake at least. Like we've talked a million times how Xenogears desperately needs some kind of remake. Or, I don't know, some of the Final Fantasy games got remastered, and they added some quality of life features, and they look better. Final Fantasy 8, for example, or 9, they didn't age very well on PS1, fortunately. Neither did 7. But they got remastered and added some quality of life features to them. And they're better, Sure, they have these remasters, have a lot of issues, I know that. But they feel better, to play. It's more fun to play these versions than the original PS1 version. That's what I'm trying to say. So, despite this trending about remakes and remasters being overused and overdone and overrated and tiring, I still think it needs to continue. But I believe companies need to make better decisions when it comes to pricing, number one, and when it comes to which games to remake or remaster. We've talked about the difference between a remake and a remaster. A remaster is just using the same game and doing a makeover, putting makeup on it. Okay, and a remake is redoing the game from scratch, from zero. That's a remake. Okay, so yeah, I think companies need to make better decisions on which games to remake or remaster, because it just seems to me that most of them don't really care about it either. Most of them just care about bringing them back. They care more about availability than quality or quantity even. All they do is re-release their games digitally with an HD upgrade, and that's it. And yes, some games, Legend of Dragoon, Valkyrie Profile, Wild Arms, Grandia, they look pretty damn good, right? They do look like they were upgraded. But the problem is that that's just a bit of a cash grab. Instead of adding a lot of quality of life improvements, instead of really remastering these games, they're just, putting a little bit of makeup on them and that's it. Here's your digital version of it on the PS5. And yeah, thank you for that, but I don't know, a true remaster will be better, don't you think? As a cash grab, it will net them more money. But yeah, it's getting tiring, man. I agree with that, but I still think it needs to continue. Haven't played Vengeance, man. Hey, Metal Wolf. These days you can get hacked PS3, 360 with hundreds of games. Yeah, I know that. In fact, you can also hack, not so easily, but you can also hack your Switch and your PS4. No problem. I want to hack my PlayStation 3, actually. Been trying to, but I don't think I can because it's the last version of it. It's the PS3 Slim, the 3000 version, and that specific version is like really hard, apparently, to to hack. Anyway, but I would love to hack it one day. What's your current backlog? I have a lot of games, man. You were pretty shocked that Baten Kaitos got a PC release. What was it, like 2 weeks ago? It was like 2 weeks ago, right? Well, there you go. If Namco can do it, so can Vanillaware. I bought a hacked PS Vita. It is amazing to play with. Ooh, yeah, isn't it? Isn't it amazing to play with a hacked PS Vita? It's one of the best emulating machines of all time, man. Glad you're enjoying it, man. It's just, man. I think the PS Vita, well, the PS TV in my case, I played most. I haven't touched the PS Vita, the portable system, in forever, but I use the PS Vita a lot. I've been streaming a lot of games on the PS Vita, PS TV lately, the one that you plug into your TV, and man, I fucking love it. It's a blast. One of my favorite consoles of all time. Hey, Relief. We having a versus today? Yes, we are. This is not gonna go away, you know. Whether I continue to upload these videos on my main channel or not, because, you know, they're barely getting any views, to be honest. You know, I'm kind of like, should I continue doing this? Should I continue uploading them on my main channel? I don't know yet. I don't think it's a very good idea to continue, but they will continue in the Q&As. You know, indefinitely. We will continue doing this for, I don't know, Sundays, weeks, months, years, maybe. I don't know. Don't ask me. Maybe one day I'll cancel the Versus show. But for now, it will definitely continue. It's just a matter of but that's just a me thing. I mean, you guys, I mean, yeah. I mean, thank you for the people who have been watching these videos on my main channel, but this is just a little bit of extra content that I wanted to try out. You know, I've always been the kind of guy who makes 2 videos a week and the live streams, right? So these Versus episodes were pretty much like a third extra video for my main channel, but, you know, they're barely getting any views. You know, to be completely honest, it's not worth it. It's not worth continuing to upload these videos on my main channel. But here in the Q&As, I mean, it's a blast. We all love it. You guys love it. I love it. You know, yeah. The Versus show will continue every Q&A, 1 per Q&A. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do for my main channel or my second channel. Terry says this second channel content, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I will definitely continue. I like the Versus and the podcast topic. Oh, the podcast will definitely continue, but the podcast is something external that I'm uploading on YouTube just because I can. Okay, the podcast, that JRPG podcast is something that's being funded and paid for by Patreons, by fans at Patreon. You want to join in? Link in the description and you get an early upload, early access. You know, usually it's just a couple of days before I upload the video on YouTube. So this is a Patreon thing. That JRPG podcast is a Patreon thing. You know, I'm only uploading the episodes on YouTube because I can. But they're also getting like 2,000-3,000 views. I mean, it's just not worth it. You know, but I'm doing it because I want to share the podcast with you guys. Even though I'm getting like a laughable amount of money per episode, you know. This is a Patreon thing. But yeah, the podcast will definitely continue, and it's 1 episode per month, which is cool. You know. But yeah, but the Versus series is, I mean, yeah. I don't think it's a great idea to continue uploading them on my main channel, but we'll see. I already edited the last one we did, Dragon Quest VIII versus Final Fantasy XII. That was last Sunday. It's already been edited, so might as well just upload it and see how it goes, right? You know, but they're barely getting any views. You know, I'd rather just do something else. But the Versus series will continue here in the Q&As. And yeah, I have one for today. But we'll wait. YouTube seems to oppose content creators when they try new ideas. No, not really. They support content creators, whether they do trending stuff, whether they chase after the trends, or whether they try out new ideas. They support them as long as these people comply with their politics, their guidelines, and behave and have no history of offending absolutely anybody in the planet, and have a substantial amount of viewers and subscribers. Because I've also seen a lot of really, really small YouTubers, and their ideas seem like pretty original and unique, and their quality seems like wow, and they barely get any views. But that's because they're small, right? You gotta remember that this is a website that's oversaturated. During the pandemic, it exploded. There used to be, 5,000 gaming channels 5 years ago, and now there's like 50,000 gaming channels, probably 100,000 or more. It's just, it got crazy, man. So a lot of people, even the famous YouTubers, are struggling with some ideas. I've seen a lot of big YouTubers relying on sponsorship. Like I was just watching a Metal Jesus Rocks video yesterday. Was it yesterday? Was it I think it was a couple of days ago. In the middle of a video, he did a sponsor of I think it was a phone game. I skipped through it, I don't care about phone games. So I was like, I can't believe a guy like this, a really big channel like Metal Jesus Rocks, whether you think of it, if you don't like this guy, if you don't like this channel, that's entirely, that's just you, that's your opinion, right? Whether you like this guy or not, that's a big channel. And for a big channel, having the need to rely on sponsorship, on advertising mobile games, that just shows you how fucked up this website is. It's just insane. There's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of gaming channels, so that means less views and less money for a lot of channels, especially the ones that have a target on their backs, like mine. But forget about that. I could be the most politically correct YouTube channel on the website, and I will probably be struggling. So it's not about YouTube opposing new ideas. It's just they started being extremely what's the word? Impartial. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Extremely impartial, and they discriminate a lot. They don't discriminate by race or anything. That's not the discrimination I'm talking about. They discriminate in order of, I don't know, who's PC, who's politically correct, and who's not, and also who is gathering the more views. And then when it comes to that, it's always been the same. This is a website that sometimes you just make a random video and it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and you make an even better video and no one gives shit. And it is objectively the better video. It's not like this is according to my opinion, this one is the better video. No, it's objectively a better video, and this has been happening for many, many years. Sometimes you upload a video and it just, that hasn't happened to me in a while because I'm something else. I'm an entirely different topic. Erick, Landon RPG, or my second channel, this is something else. Okay, this is a whole new hate and rejection campaign by Google and the mafia that I talked about before. But if we forget about that and focus on let's change the subject. Kind of hard for me to talk about this website without complaining about how anyway, it's strange when YouTubers who say mobile games think over and then accept a mobile game sponsorship. It is strange, but they do it out of necessity. Like, I don't want to do that. I will never do that. I've never done a sponsorship before. All I've done is promote my books, my own books, my work. I rather rely on Patreons, on people who support my channel financially on Patreon, or here in the Super Chat, who make donations here in the Super Chat, or on PayPal every now and then, I'd rather rely a bit on that. Sure, it's been hard for me since I was grounded and punished by YouTube, but I'm still hanging in there thanks to my fans. I don't want to have to rely on sponsorship, but if I ever if I had to rely on sponsorship, I wouldn't promote mobile games because that's a personal thing. I don't like them. I reject them, and I replied to a lot of companies saying, "Hey, I don't cover mobile games. Sorry." So, but if I ever do sponsor, it will have to be like advertising a game that's gonna be at least in one console, right? At the very least, and it's gonna align a little bit with my interests. You know, this is an RPG channel. I'm not gonna go out and promote something I don't believe in, like a gacha free-to-play RPG. I will never do that, even if it's on console like Genshin Impact. I've gotten tons of offers from Honkai Railstar. I've declined every single one of them because I don't believe in that. That will be hypocritical, you know, to go out and promote a game that I don't like, that I don't believe in, you know. But I don't know if a company were to reach out for me to promote a regular console offline single-player Japanese role-playing game, you know, maybe I will do it. I got this close of doing it with Paper Mario, you know, but just because I live in Mexico, they told me to go fuck myself. Not because I'm Mexican, okay? Don't start with your racist bullshit, you know, no. It's because it will be expensive to transfer the money from a United States bank account to a Mexican bank account. That was it. Or I don't know, that's what I would like to believe. That's why probably Nintendo gave me the middle finger, you know? But, yeah. If it happened again, I'm just trying to tell you that it was about to happen. I was going to make a paid review for the first time in my life. And trust me, yeah, I need the money, okay? But if I'm going to do sponsorship, it's gonna have to be like that. Sponsored content, you know, like advertise something I believe in. Or advertise something that aligns with my channel's interests, you know? I can't just go out there and advertise, I don't know, Silent Hill 2 remake. Like, come on. No. First and foremost, that's an extremely politicized game. And second, it's a survival horror game. Like, what am I doing advertising a survival horror game in an RPG channel? No. Anyway. So, yeah, let me read some of your comments. John Tron? That guy's still making videos? He used to be a big gaming channel and then he's changed his content, right? To just comedy episodes of whatever, right? And wow, I haven't watched that guy in years. And he's always making Raid Shadow sponsorships. Yeah, but he's famous, yeah. He probably makes a lot of money, but you gotta understand, John Tron is just one guy with a team behind him and he needs money to pay this team and to, yeah, I mean, these are YouTubers that are big and they do sponsorships, but because they have really expensive equipment, cameras, computers, and all that jazz, and they do a lot of research, and then they have a lot of people working for them. So of course it makes sense that they need a lot of money to pay their employees and to pay for all the equipment and to pay for that huge quality that you see on the screen. So I'm not surprised some of the big YouTubers do sponsorships. Not all of them, you know. Rick Beato, who I follow, doesn't do any sponsorship. And he has like 4 million subscribers. Not all of them, but yeah, most of them, because of that. Because they have a big team and they pay them money and yeah. TikTok pretty much fucked content creation in a sense that today there are so many viewers with short attention spans. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. Which is why YouTube copied TikTok. Yeah, the problem with shorts is that you're right, people don't want to watch videos anymore. This is the reason why I think, going back to the Versus episodes, this is the reason why I think a lot of people aren't watching those on my main channel. Because they don't care about what you guys have to say. They don't even care about what I have to say. They just want to see what game won and what game I picked, probably, and that's it. So as a result, these videos are barely getting any watch time, and they're not getting recommended. Because people are like, I don't need to watch a 10-minute long video to see which game won between Suikoden 2 and The Legend of Dragoon. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the arguments. And that's not just a lack of attention span. That's just an attitude from a lot of people that the internet has inflicted on from years ago. People stopped caring about the how. People stopped caring about the why. People don't give a fuck about context anymore. And it's a big part of the culture social war from nowadays, I believe. Like, that's why there's so many people angry and divided and fighting each other and saying whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it, you know, and ruining careers, ruining lives, offending everybody, you know, because they don't give a fuck about context anymore. They don't care about the whys or the hows. They just care about the whats. So that's like, hey guys, I'm gonna make a review of this beautiful transparent water bottle. So they don't give a shit. No. Just tell me if it's good or not, Eric. Oh yeah, it's good. You should buy it. Okay, thanks. That's all they care about, most people. So they don't give a fuck about, oh, this water, the water is like this, and how they make the bottle like this. You know, in order for this little thing to work, they do it like this. And in my opinion, this should have a better, you know, I don't know, whatever. You know, most people don't give a fuck about that anymore. They're just like, hey guys, this is good. Play it, buy it. It's on Switch and it's $30. Good to go. That's why there's a lot of top 10s nowadays with, I haven't watched a single one of them, but I imagine they don't have very compelling arguments. Like, I really sit down, I just wrote a script for a new video yesterday for a new top 10 that I got coming out probably tomorrow. So, while I was writing the script, I was like, you know, passionately writing my arguments that I know for a fact most people are gonna skip because they don't give a shit. But that's, I mean, what can I do? Will you prefer me to make shorts, 1 minute long videos and just saying, oh, top 10 best this, number 7, number 6, number 5, and that's it? Yeah. So it's not just TikTok. Sure, TikTok made a huge negative impact. Well, whether it's negative or positive, it's a matter of perspective, right? In my perspective, it's a negative impact on a website like YouTube. Definitely was a very negative impact, in my opinion. But it sure did, but it's not the only problem. I think social media as a whole, not just TikTok, the entirety of the internet and social media made people like this. Made people not care about the reasons why, about explanations, about arguments, about, you know, words. You know, they don't even read anymore. People don't give a fuck about books anymore. You know, all they care about is the what. The what? Oh, what happened? What happened with this person? What happened with this YouTuber? What happened with this actor? What's going on? Oh, so what happened with Kevin Spacey? Oh, did he got all the charges dropped? Oh, sure, he did. Oh, great. I don't give a shit about the rest. They don't even need to know why. Nope. My videos have subtitles. They're like automatic, right? I've seen some of my own videos with subtitles that I didn't add. They're like automatic, so I don't need to do anything. But yeah, mobile gameplay, so people don't click off because of ADHD. That's a good one. People don't want vapid content. What's that? What's vapid? Vapid? What? Or is that a grammar mistake? Is there a downside to doing shorts? No, not really. You know, maybe I'll try them. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But it's not that I create the content that I like to watch. You know, I don't watch shorts. I watched a few of them, and I'm like I don't give a damn about them, to be honest. Some of my favorite YouTubers do shorts, and I'm always like, I don't care about this content, you know. So, like I was saying before, I don't think I want to do content that I don't believe in, but shorts could be a good idea for a certain type of content. Maybe I need to think outside of the box. I don't think there's a downside to doing shorts, but it's just the type of content you want to create for people. Shorts are good for promoting the channel. I don't know, maybe. I don't think so, because I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing shorts and they don't get a lot of views. Like, they just get like 1,000 views and that's it. I think it needs to be like something really controversial or like very, very unique and interesting, or very trendy, you know, or something very funny, for example. And I haven't figured out how to do that because I don't think about that. I'm always thinking on the next video and how I'm gonna do it, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not really against short videos, like 1 minute long videos, you know. I just don't care about them, and it's not the type of content that I would like to create. But maybe I could come up with something that I can enjoy and that my audience can enjoy, and that's gonna net me more money, I guess. I don't know. I like comedy skit shorts on YouTube. Yeah, something like that, you know, it's just comedy. I could do comedy too, you know, but I'm a pretty cynical, politically incorrect person. So my comedy will be shadow banned. Shorts don't pay at all on YouTube. Yeah, I think shorts, you need to have like hundreds of thousands of views to get like maybe $20. like, yeah. Well, everybody's gonna have an opinion, right? Short, a funny dialogue of games could be good. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Those get like millions of views, like funny moments in my streams maybe. I don't know. The ones with hot women have millions of views. Why am I not surprised? Are you ever planning on making a visual novel? No, I tried that in 2011. It didn't work. It didn't go very well. I don't know how to draw. You know, I'm just a writer. And I'm not the biggest fan of visual novels. So I'd love to do one, but yeah, I'd rather make an RPG or something. But I can only write. Cooking is great for YouTube shorts. Cooking, huh? Yeah, well, I'm not gonna do that. If I start doing shorts, they have to be like RPG related, right? No, I'm not gonna play free-to-play games. I don't like them. Short theme will get you over 100,000 views. JRPG waifus. Anyway, back to your damn questions. Will you be reviewing Phantom Brave? You mean the second one? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I think my NIS America changed personnel a couple of months ago, and the people that I worked with do not work anymore for NIS America. And the press section went into a different direction. I don't know what's going on. I don't have a review code for Trails Through Daybreak. Believe it or not, I used to get everything from NIS America, even special editions sometimes. Invitations to whatever. I talked about this in the last Q&A, and yeah, I think my relationship with NIS America has been destroyed by new employees who probably know who I am and fucking hate me, or they've seen my recent numbers, which dropped considerably, and they don't want to work with me anymore for some reason. So no, I don't think I'll be reviewing Phantom Brave 2 or most NIS America games anymore, unfortunately. Not my fault, I didn't do anything. You upload clips from the Versus series and shorts, they're not gonna get any views, man. A grade for a short, how to overlevel quickly in this JRPG game. Stop giving me ideas, man. It's just, I don't know. Not really interested in creating shorts right now. There's just, I don't know. More likely the numbers, the kind of people who hate you are getting fired from places like that now because they're the biggest loss in revenue. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's happening. You know, I looked it up online. The two guys who I used to be in contact with all these years, that used to send me review codes, They don't work for the company anymore, for NIS America, and obviously they haven't said anything. You go to their social media and they don't say, "Oh, NIS America fired me," no, or "I quit the company," no. They're just like, as of March, whatever, I am no longer working for NIS America. Thank you for all the great memories and blah blah blah, and yeah. And people wishing them good luck and the best of luck in the comments, you know. It's like nothing's being revealed, like whether they were fired or whether they quit or maybe they had a contract and it expired. I have no idea. PR companies are always changing. This is nothing new. I'm not surprised, you know. PR companies are always changing personnel, like sometimes it's per game. Like Atlus, for example, Square Enix, every time a new game comes out, it's a different person. It's not the same guy. "Oh yeah, I'm the guy, I'm the PR for Square Enix RPGs." No, every game is a new person, or even a new team. Sometimes not even a new person, an entirely new team with a different name. Like Panda Bears Incorporated. I just made that up. There is no Panda Bears PR. I don't know if, let's say, like Panda Bears. Hey, I'm Jonathan from Panda Bears Incorporated, and I'm working for Square Enix right now for the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So here's your review code, right? And then the next Square Enix RPG comes out. I don't know, whatever, and it's no longer Panda Bears. It's like, well, I'm Lion Kings Incorporated now. I'm Susan, and I work for Lion Kings Incorporated, and I'm handling review codes for the new Square Enix game. And I'm at the beginning, I was like, what happened with the other guy? Did he get fired, or what the fuck? PR companies are like this. But NIS America, for years, it was always these two guys. Always. I'm not gonna say their names, but it was always these two guys. Always. I started working with NIS America since 2021. Yeah, 2021 when I started receiving review codes, you know, and it was always these two guys, and all of a sudden they just disappeared. They no longer work for the company. There's this new guy that I've been talking to, and he hasn't replied my messages in weeks. And I was like, hey, so what? Am I gonna get a review code for Trails Through Daybreak? No answer. Okay. Maybe they've been replaced by AI? I doubt it. Hey, Rosland. I'm fine. What do you think, What? Why do you think a lot of gaming channels and websites back in the 2000s like G4 TV and IGN have such a negative stigma against JRPGs? I don't know. G4 TV is a really old website and show. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I do remember they covered a few JRPGs, even obscure ones. I remember a Hexis Force review by these guys, but I'm not too familiar with them. And IGN, I have no idea. I couldn't care less about that website. I hate it. This is too loud. You guys need to tell me when the music is too loud. What is this, Opuna? It's a really obscure Wii turn-based RPG. You play the Baten Kaitos remaster. I play the Switch versions. Nisa is hemorrhaging cash right now if Steam sales are any indication. Really? Yeah, maybe they fire a lot of people and they're just like, I don't know. I did try the demo of Trails Through Daybreak, at least. AI still needs to send out review codes. You should work for Kotaku. No, thanks. I would rather work for... Anyway, not to mention Falcom was their biggest overall seller. And they're now expressing the desire to just do everything themselves. Whether or not they will, we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions with this America. Maybe I've seen companies send review codes like a day before, because they to YouTubers because they give preference to the magazines. Like I don't know, some reviews of Trails Through Daybreak are already up there, right? And I'm pretty sure most of them are by magazines, by famous magazines or websites, that just so happen to have a YouTube channel also. And a lot of companies do that. They're like, oh, I'm gonna send the review code to the magazines first, and then like 2 weeks later, or a few days after the game, before the game's release, I'm gonna send them to the YouTuber. And they don't pay us. At least they've never paid me. Never. All the money I get from my reviews comes from the apps. Okay? Not from the companies. I've never charged any of these companies before. Maybe I should start. And they do this because, I don't know, maybe the magazines tell them to. Like, oh, you want me to review your game? You're gonna have to send me the review code like way ahead of time so I can play it. I have enough time to play it and then to review it and upload it on YouTube way before YouTubers do. So everybody's gonna watch my review first, right? It's always about that. It's always about the competition. It's pathetic. And yes, I'm not gonna mention which companies, maybe. Well, I think I already have. So what's the point in complying with the imaginary NDA? Anyway, so I've seen companies have sent me review codes like 1 day or 2 days before the game comes out, and I'm always like, why? Why are you doing this? You already send the review code to a lot of other websites and YouTubers. I mean, what's the point? My video is barely gonna get any views. And you know what? It fucking did. Because I uploaded my review like 2, 3, 5 days later. After the game was, and nobody cares anymore. Because everybody already watched the big magazine or the big YouTubers review. So most are not gonna care about my review anymore. Right? So how are you supposed to review a game in 2 days? Exactly. Well, if it's a short game, it's fine, right? But if an RPG, like in 2 days, where I'm gonna be playing like the entire day, no sleep, no eating, no personal life, until I beat the game the entire day until I finish. Come on, it's not enough time. They don't give a fuck about us, man, and they don't even pay us. Look how they treat us. And people comply. They don't stand up to these guys. They don't stand up to companies. They just, okay. Oh, I wish they play the humble role. I know everybody wants to be the humble YouTuber nowadays and not criticize anything or anyone and behave and obey and whatnot, But they're always like, oh, I hope I'm lucky enough to get a review code. Come on, people. I wish I could just send a message to all YouTubers out there. Not the big ones, but the ones that are like on my spectrum, and tell them you should start charging these companies because come on, they treat you like shit, they don't pay you anything, and they expect you to advertise their game for free. And that's what we do. I advertise their games for free. Well, not for free, I get paid by YouTube, by the ads, by companies. But I talk about games because I'm passionate about them. And also because I want developers to keep creating more RPGs, especially the obscure ones. Like I know I do give a lot of attention to the popular AAA RPGs as well, but I like to give a lot of attention to the obscure or the smaller games or the hidden gems, so studios can continue creating these games, right? And nobody's paying me. They aren't paying me. But these publishers, man, always a fucking problem. Sometimes YouTubers get way more views than sites like Kotaku and IGN, says Leo. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Well, right now I've Yeah, Tyson, that's right. The truth right there. Have you ever played the SWI games from Falcom? Nope. I know they're exclusive to PC, and they will originally release on the PSP only in Japan. I don't think they're fan translated, and even if they are, I haven't played them. All I know is that they exist and that they are out there. And I know the Steam versions did come out of Japan, but I don't play on Steam. We still need a Valkyrie Profile remake. Yes, we do. Do you think we're in need of a new RPG genre? What? No, because I think every single video game in existence nowadays, even sports games or even shoot 'em ups or first-person shooters, have RPG elements. So, what would you propose? A new RPG genre? What would you propose, man? Thank you, Alex Tokash. Thanks a bunch, man. Oh, check my PayPal? Alright. Thanks, man. Thank you for the donation. Your name on PayPal, man. What's up with that name, man? Please don't do shorts. Okay, I prefer whole, complete, and thorough content that's well thought out, which is why I love your channel. I don't think I'm gonna do shorts. But if I ever do, I mean, just ignore them. But I don't think I will. I just don't see the appeal in making shorts. I mean, shorts were getting, like, handsomely paid by YouTube, regardless of their views. I will probably do something creatively speaking, some comedy, you know, but no, it's just doing shorts. Nah. Horror RPGs. Anyway, The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is a game from 2021, I don't understand. It was released in Japan in 2021, but it took NIS America 3 years. Maybe that's why they don't want to work with me anymore, because I keep criticizing them. I mean, even if you criticize a company, talk shit about them, if they send a review code, I'm gonna play their game, and I'm gonna do a review based on their game, so it's still advertisements. Just people have this tunnel vision nowadays, man. And they discriminate you and judge you just because you think differently. Fucking snowflakes nowadays. I'm not saying NIS America is a snowflake, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of that mentality in the video game industry anyway, so... Yeah, it took NIS America 3 years to translate the game and localize it. That's why we're getting the game in 2024. But Daybreak was originally released in 2021 in Japan. Do you understand now? I say Gem Drops should handle a Valkyrie Profile Lenneth remake. No. I'm not sure Valkyrie will... I mean, yes, it will look great. It will definitely look great on the HD 2D style. I agree with that, you know, but the graphics in Valkyrie Profile are a little bit more advanced than your average 16-bit, 8-bit type of graphics. So, I don't know. I've never considered a Valkyrie Profile remake. Like, how would a remake be like? I need to think about it. Still Alive, thanks a bunch. He says, question, as a noob to the Dragon Quest series, which entry will you say is the best to start with? Just 1, or maybe 8, or 11? Well, first and foremost, I'm not the biggest Dragon Quest fan, and I haven't played every single one of them. I have only played like half of them. I mean, I've played most of them, but some of them I only played them for like 1 or 2 hours, so it doesn't really count, if you know what I'm meaning. So... you're kind of asking the wrong guy, but to the best of my experience, I'll say 11 is a good place to start because it's the more balanced one. 8 is a massive grind fest. Unless you're really into like really big grind fests, start with 8. If you like difficult, like really difficult and kind of unfair games, you know, Dragon Quest 8 is a massive grind fest. In Dragon Quest 11, you are still going to have to grind, but not that much. So Dragon Quest XI is a good place to start, I'd say. Then there's also 7. 7 is also a good one, and you will get the feeling of the old retro-style Dragon Quest games, even if you play the remake on the Nintendo 3DS. I mean, it's a bit difficult too. It is grindy, not as grindy as 8, but it's a bit of a grind fest too. But it could also be a good place to start. 5 could be another one, but I never made it any farther than the first 2 hours, so I can't comment much on it. For the first one, I don't know. How about you wait for November? Dragon Quest III Remake will be released? Or are you asking this question because you want to get into the series before the remake of 3 comes out? If so, then I guess 11 will be a good idea, or 7. 7 if you want to get the retro feel before you jump into the remake of 3. Which it looks beautiful, but it still looks like a retro RPG, right? So I'd say 7, the original PS1 version. Just know that you're in for a long, long ride. That's a stupidly long RPG. And for a PS1 game, it's just ridiculous. PS1 RPGs used to be around the 30-hour long mark. You know, Dragon Quest VII, it's like at the very least 50, 60 hours. Even if you stick to the main stories. Incredibly long. So yeah, I will recommend those two for beginners. Can you say only in Japan? Only in Japan. Valkyrie Profile doesn't really need much. Maybe an HD remaster is good enough. It did get an upscaled HD treatment already. It is not a remaster, but it did get the HD upgrade treatment. And it's available on PS4 and PS5. In case you didn't know, it's digital only, no physical release. But yeah, proper remaster will be better, but I don't see the point right now because that will invalidate the HD upgrade Sony just did. I don't think Valkyrie Profile will ever get remastered. Remake, maybe, but then Square Enix has no interest in the series anymore, and they left us pretty clear with Valkyrie Elysium, which is basically a reboot of the series, and since it got very mixed reviews and a very mixed reception. I mean, yeah, the average normal gamer loved the game, but almost 9 out of 10 Valkyrie Profile fans trashed the game, so I don't think Valkyrie Elysium will ever get a sequel, but I don't know. I think Valkyrie Profile, like Terry said, is dead. It's officially dead. I remember you finished Dragon Quest XI. Well, I didn't 100% finish it. I beat the game with the bad ending, and then the post-game destroyed me. I attempted the final boss like 3 times, the true final boss, just so I could get the true ending in Dragon Quest XI, which is part of the post-game, and I couldn't defeat the final boss, and I got so tired of the grinding. I hated Dragon Quest XI because of that. It's my favorite Dragon Quest game of all time, and I love it, but my biggest problem with it was that, locking the true ending in an extremely difficult post-game. That's just... man. Maybe a New Game Plus will be a good idea for Valkyrie Profile. Well... yeah... yeah, to get the different endings at least. And it'll be like Nier, Gestalt, or Replicant. Getting all the endings is a pain in the ass. You gotta beat the game over and over again. I mean, I don't see the point. Usually when you get JRPGs with multiple routes and endings, the best you can do is like save before a specific event and then go from there, or I don't know, give you the choice of getting there faster and overpower. Nier does that, but it's an action RPG and you still gotta backtrack a lot. Problem with games like Nier or Valkyrie Profile is that they don't have any fast travel, and that's a pain in the ass. Nier Replicant doesn't have one. Nier Automata implemented this chapter selection system, which I thought was fantastic. But then, 4 years later, they remake Nier Replicant, and they didn't add that. And I was like, oh man, I want to get the other endings, but I'm gonna have to beat all of these bosses again and return to town by walking and running and backtrack a lot, and I got tired and I ditched it, you know. Is the Legend of Heroes Gagar trilogy worth the time? Well, considering the huge amount of amazing JRPGs that are available on every single platform, including the PSP, I would say no. Actually, they're good games, they're decent games, but they're not that great. They don't come even close to the Trails games. Any Trails game puts that trilogy to shame. It's a good trilogy, don't take me wrong, especially the second one. A Tear of Vermilion, I think it's the best out of the three, and it is worth playing, but they're not that great. They're good games, but they're not that great. They're like I don't know, a 7 out of 10 maybe, 7.5, yeah. Tear of Vermilion could possibly come close to an 8, but that's okay. You know, I've always said this, and I still do. Like, what's a good or okay-ish game to me may be a masterpiece to you. Maybe if you play the Gagarv trilogy, in a few months you'll show up here saying this is much better than the Trails series. And that's okay, you know, everybody can have their own opinion, so... I suggest playing one of them, man. Just play one of them. You don't have to play all three. Play one, and if you feel it's great, then jump into the second one. And if you feel it's too generic, then forget about it and play the Trail series instead. Yeah, but the trilogy is its own thing. Okay, it isn't connected to the Trail series. It's a standalone, self-contained trilogy. And all three games, while connected, they're also standalone. It's not like there's a chronological order. You need to play Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch first, and then A Tear of Vermilion, and then Song of the Ocean. If you want to play them in order, if order really matters to you, that's the correct order to play them. But they're standalone. Sure, you may get a few spoilers here and there, small spoilers, but you can just start with any. You can start with Song of the Ocean, and you're not gonna get spoiled much of the other two games. It's okay. So you can play them in this order. So with that said, maybe start with A Tear of Vermilion, which is the better one. Yeah. So are they worth playing? Yeah, kinda, but at the same time, not really. You love the Legend of Heroes Gagarv trilogy, Metal Wolf, but have you played the Trails series? Isn't it better? Do you think there should be another console generation? There will be. It's not that I think there should be. It will be. Doesn't matter what I think, it's bound to happen. What are your thoughts on the best Breath of Fire? 5. Nice try. I'm playing Arc the Lad 2. Did you play it? Yes, Arc the Lad 2 is a great game. It's the best. One of the best in the series. 4 is better. I like 4 more. But 2 is a close second. Fantastic game, Arc the Lad 2. I'm a big fan of the series, man. Do you think someone who didn't like the story and characters of Trails in the Sky 1 and Cold Steel 1 can enjoy Daybreak? I don't know, because I only played the demo of Daybreak, and it did have a few spoilers here and there of those games, but nothing substantial. Well, what I noticed about Daybreak is that it's more modern, and that's a double-edged sword. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's also a little bit more mature. Seems to be, you're playing with a protagonist that's in his 20s, and he already has a job. You're not playing as a student, okay? So, or like a really young, fresh out of the police academy character, like in the Crossbell arc. So no, you're playing with a slightly more mature character, but his first 2 party members are little kids, like teenagers, like the 16, 17-year-old girls, right? So, to be completely honest, the demo is quite long. It's like 10 hours long. But if you didn't like Trails in the Sky or Trails of Cold Steel, you might not enjoy this one either, in terms of storytelling. I don't know, man, I can't recommend Trails through Daybreak because I've only played the demo. It's a good demo, it's a good game, but I have my concerns. Anyway. Is the Dog Hack Geo series worth playing? Is it a great story? It's a great story, but it has a couple of annoying characters that back then weren't that annoying, but nowadays, because of all the modern political bullshit, you might find annoying. But yeah, man, if you can overlook that, incredible story, man. Yeah. The trilogy itself is like, holy shit, man. It's another level of storytelling. At the beginning, you're not gonna appreciate it that much. You need to keep playing it. And then all the psychological problems, all the characters will surface, and all the nonsense about the developers of the game, the programmers of the world, the fake MMORPG, and the virus. It all comes together, and got a lot of intrigue and a lot of the great character development. I mean, you got an entire trilogy instead of just one game. So yeah, HackGeo series is definitely 10 times worth playing, man. What are your thoughts on Namco sandbagging with remastering or re-releasing older Tales games? They seem to be moving forward and not revisiting older titles, and they blew the Symphonia remaster. Yeah, just real quick, because I've talked about that topic a million times. I think they're making a very stupid decision, or maybe they just don't have the talent or intelligence to create good remasters. Well, it did. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance didn't upset me. What would you be asking if it upset anyone? Is there something wrong with it? I mean, we all know it's a cash grab. I mean, Atlus is doing with that game the same thing they did with Persona 5, making you buy the same game again with extra content. Is it worth it? I don't know. That's up to you to decide, but why would the game upset anyone? What happened? What happened? Have you heard of a game Final Fantasy 15's director is making with Saudi Arabia? No, and I don't give a shit about that game or that director. I don't give a shit if they're doing anything with Saudi Arabia. Is Final Fantasy X worth getting a remake in your opinion? No, it's been remastered 10,000 times and it's available on all modern systems. No, I don't think it's worth... No. What did you think of Live Alive? I thought it was a pretty decent game. I think it's not for everybody, because if you start with one character, you may get attached to that character or to the battle mechanics or the gameplay mechanics from that specific character's arc. And then all of a sudden, boom! 1-2 hours later, that's it for that character. That's it. And you gotta jump into the next character. And the next character has an entirely different setting and an entirely this very similar battle system, but an entirely different gameplay mechanics. Maybe a lot of fighting, a lot more fighting, or barely any fighting, and that's gonna throw you off track as if you were playing an entirely different game. But at the same time, that's the magic of that game. That's what I found appealing about it. That's why I loved it, right? So I think it's a fantastic game, and if you like that, if you don't mind that you're supposed to fight, you're supposed to go through 2-3 hours max with every character. Some characters are actually shorter than that. If you don't mind jumping from setting to setting and characters and party to party, you're gonna love it. It's a great game. Did I miss the Versus segment? No, we haven't done it yet. You're still in time. Just reading your comments here. I'm taken back by all the different endings it has. Yeah. Well, there's only like way other different endings, you're right. But every arc has its own ending, right? So if you like that, then yeah. Terra Enigma versus A Link to the Past. Never finished either game, so I couldn't comment. Do you think Lost Odyssey needs a remaster or a sequel? I think it needs some kind of re-release. Maybe a remaster, maybe all it needs is some kind of HD upgrade and that's it. 1080p at 60 frames per second on Xbox One or Series X. Series X probably. PlayStation 5 too, please. If possible. I don't know who owns the rights to Lost Odyssey. I think it's Microsoft. You know what that means, right? But do I think it needs a remaster? Like Yeah, it needs a re-release. Any kind of re-release. But a sequel, I don't know. I don't think so. Well, if you say that because of the ending, we're not gonna talk about it to avoid spoilers. But maybe, yeah. Did we do the versus yet? No. We haven't. What happened? The chat froze. Damn it. Look at the music, man. Why leave these blank spaces here? Look at this. Next song, please. No sound. Oh, there we go. Just took a while. The chat seems to be back too. Shit, man. Crazy shenanigans that happen every now and then in the streams. Maybe I should do shorts based on those. I'm sure they will get a lot of views. You're a fan of Soul Blazer. That's a good game. Did you play Septerra Core? It's a PC-only hidden gem. No, I don't. I didn't. Best Cold Steel waifu. Again, that topic is overused, man. We've done it so many times. Do you think Monochrome Mobius will get a sequel or just go straight into the first Utawaru Mono game? I don't think so. We already talked about this. But I don't think it's gonna get a direct sequel. I don't think the Mobius sold that much to merit a sequel. I don't think so. And it ties almost perfectly well into the second Utawaru Mono game. You got it wrong. Mobius connects to Mask of Deception, and that Mask of Deception is the second Utawaru Mono game. The first Utawaru Mono game, Prelude to the Fallen, happens before Monochrome Mobius. So the games go in this order: Prelude to the Fallen, Monochrome Mobius, Mask of Deception, Mask of Truth. The end. No, I don't think so. Music is too loud now. Wow, it was too low. It's just this fucking song, maybe. Well, it's over. This is better, right? Is it better? It's Poison Control, man. Great soundtrack. Did you ever play Knight's Contract on PS3? No. I know the game. I've seen it. It's also on 360. No, I didn't play it. Do I need to play Star Ocean The Last R1 before playing 2? What? Not sure I understand what you're asking. Are you asking if you need to play The Last Hope or First Departure? Best PS1 RPG that isn't Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, or Xenogears. Well, Chrono Trigger is available on PS1. I'll give you that. Chrono Cross. Do you like the Onimusha games? I played the first one many years ago and I couldn't get into it, but that was many years ago and I'm not sure I can give you an opinion. I did play Onimusha Tactics and I finished it and I streamed it some days ago, this week, like 7 days ago, and it was great. Love it. Magical Vacation or Magical Star Sign? Well, I guess I'm gonna go with Magical Star Sign because I never played Magical Vacation, the first one. Unfortunately. Oh, except for Tactics, sorry. My chat was lagging, now it's back to normal. There, thoughts on Magna Carta 2. 360 exclusive, good game, kinda convoluted. It's full of annoying difficulty spikes, very unbalanced. It's still a good game, decent story, great fan service, beautiful visuals. I mean, that's a Korean game, and man, the graphics are impressive for its time, to be honest. They look beautiful. Not impressive on a technical level, impressive on a visual level. I mean, it just looks really gorgeous. The overworld, the colors, the graphics, you know. some of the ladies. But yeah, the battle mechanics were something completely different from its predecessor. I like the battle system. I love the battle system in the first Magna Carta. It did take me a while. I can see why a lot of people reject that game. They can't get into the battle system easily. But eventually I got into it and I really enjoyed it and appreciated it. And now I jump into Magna Carta 2 and the battle system is something completely different, which is kind of like action-ish with some real-time stuff going on in there. I'm not sure I loved it, but I enjoyed it. But it also took me once again a long time to fully appreciate it. But eventually I got into this battle. I don't even remember if it was a boss battle or something, but I got stuck. It's a 2-disc game and I got stuck in the second disc, early in the second disc, and I never beat the game. I gave up on it because it was just very unbalanced and kind of convoluted. So yeah, still a good game, but I think the first one is much better in almost every area. You want a Valkyrie Drive sequel. Do you think the Nintendo Switch will ever top the Super Nintendo? In what? In terms of sales, it already did. But in terms of like what? Didn't the Stellar Blade guy work on Magna Carta? Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Still alive, thanks again for the donation. What RPGs did you feel the most emotions over? Either you got sad, moved to tears, scared, horrified, happy. Mine were Xenogears and Final Fantasy VI. Well, those two are also on my list. Chrono Cross, obviously. I've always said this before, Chrono Cross is the one that broke me. It tore me to pieces. What else? Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria as well, but until the end. I mean, it kind of got me very excited, and it got me shocked with a couple of plot twists that I wasn't expecting. I was like, wow. Because you gotta consider, I played Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria before I played the first one. So I got a lot of spoilers. Yeah, don't do that, people. Start with the first one. But anyway, so the ending, which I'm not gonna spoil, of Valkyrie 2 also kind of moved me. I was like, oh my god, no. It's kind of tragic. And then Tales of Legendia, I've always quoted Tales of Legendia because of that one scene with Moses and the dog, and he's, well, not the dog, the creature, and there's another scene with Norma and Will. I'm not gonna spoil one. The one with Will is like, wow, it hits hard. I don't have any kids, but I don't know, for some reason it hits hard, right? What else? Nier Replicant wasn't that impactful. I mean, it was shocking, but not in the question you're asking, like, did I feel the most emotions? Once you realize what's really going on in Nier Replicant or Gestalt, it's kind of like messed up, but it wasn't that emotional, Anyway, what other games? Persona 3, any version. Now that I beat the remake Reload like 4 or 5 months ago, and that one scene with Maiko, the little girl that you befriend in the park, there's one scene with her parents that also, and the Aigis, her whole character development arc, from realizing that she's a robot and that she can never be human, and accepting who she really is, and accepting that, her true nature, I mean, that's, that always gets me. That's pretty emotional too. Persona 3 Reload, definitely. Emotional moment. Wow. New com, holy shit, man. Hope this helps in getting you to purchase Trails Through Daybreak. Oh man, thanks a bunch. It will definitely help. I think I got a fan that like a month ago or more, like 2 months ago, told me that they were going to send the game. Oh, man. But don't worry, I'll put your money to use. Even if it's not Trails. Or what if this guy doesn't send anything, so I will buy it. Don't worry. I make use of the money. You guys have seen this. It's not like, oh, $100, yeah, I'll buy the game. And then I end up buying, paying for some bills. Or paying for the mortgage or something like that, Or, I'm just gonna pay from some food, some pizza, No. I mean, you saw what happened with the PS5, right? Alex sent the money and I bought it, and it's right there. So thanks, man. That was crazy, man. Thanks a bunch. Anyway, going back to the emotional question, yeah, I think those are... I just gave you several good examples. Those are some of the most emotional games. Oh, one last one that I'd like to add is Yakuza Like a Dragon. The first one. The second one, nah, not too much. I love the ending in Infinite Wealth, but no, it wasn't emotional, really. The first one, man. That ending when Ichiban, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but that was really emotional. I was in tears. I was like, man. And there are also like other emotions like anger, you know, not leaving the gameplay mechanics aside that make me rage quit. I know like something happened that made me angry, you know. That's also happened before. Final Fantasy VII was one of those. Not because of Aerith, no. That was kind of emotional, but for some reason it didn't impact me that much. I wish I could tell my story with Aerith, you know. I was just... It requires spoilers, so never mind. Maybe I'll do a podcast episode based on it one of these days, right? So, but there are a few things about Final Fantasy VII that made me angry, emotionally speaking. I mean, not the gameplay mechanics. So did Final Fantasy IX, another one. Yeah. And, yeah, we could go on, man. Those are some emotional games. Who is Akinari? Akinari isn't the guy that's a bit of some kind of ghost or something? Did I just spoil? Fuck, never mind. Bro, the ending on Reload being in full engine cinematic fucking broke me. Me too. Did you listen to my podcast? I made a podcast based on Persona 3. That was episode 1. That GRP podcast episode 1. It's based on Persona 3. I know it's long, but maybe you'll give it a chance. Listen to it in parts. You know, 10, 20 minutes one day, and then 2 days later, the next 20 minutes, and so on. And I talked about the ending too, and how it fucking destroyed me. The plot in Infinite Wealth is such a hot mess. Why? Nothing until halfway through the game. Really? I didn't feel it that way, you know. Maybe you spend a lot of time doing side content or exploring during the first hours of the game, I don't know. But it did take a while to pick up, but I felt that the first game was the same. You spend like 2 hours and then finally it starts. Ichiban goes to jail and gets out and shit happens, right? Infinite Wealth was just the same. It takes a while to start, but I wouldn't say it got interesting until halfway through, you know, the second... all the Hawaii stuff, you know, and I mean, that's... come on. I disagree, but to each their own. Eric, did you try the demo of Sword of Convaleria? No, they reached out to me, but it's a PC-only game, man. I told them, hey, they reached out to me. They were going to give me a review code, and I told them, if you ever release this on a console, Switch, PS4, PS5, anything, let me know. But Steam, it's not gonna work. Now, I've said this a million times, and I will say it again. I don't play on Steam, not because I don't want to, but because my laptop can't handle it. Most games lag or glitch or crash, okay? Doesn't work. One day I'll get a better computer and I'll get into Steam, I promise, you know, but that's why I don't play on Steam. So no, I didn't try the demo of Sword of Convaleria. Will you make a Trails Through Daybreak review? I'll talk about the game, that's a fact, even if it's just based on the demo. But I think it's almost a guarantee that I'll get the game because a fan is sending a special edition to me, and if he doesn't, somebody just donated money for that, so I'll get it. But a full video review dedicated exclusively to it, I don't know yet. But I will review the game at some point. If Square Enix told you to choose 5 games to remaster or remake, which games will you select? I'm gonna answer remaster, because remake, they're gonna take a lot of liberties in altered story, translation, and battle mechanics, so fuck that. So I'm just gonna stick to remaster, okay, for your question. Square Enix told me to choose 5 games to remaster. Which games will I select? Xenogears, number 1, always, forever. Wait. Just be patient, okay? I'm making this answer worth it. Xenogears, definitely. Okay, we can all agree with that one. Oh, we gotta start the versus episode right now. What else? Thank you, Yum Yum. I'll get a Steam Deck one of these days. Thanks a bunch, man. So Xenogears. Chrono Trigger. No, never scratch that. No, Chrono Trigger, no. Chrono Trigger, I would like a remake with the HD2 visual style. So does that count? It's a remake. I said remasters only, right? But Chrono Trigger remake if it's only in that style, in HD 2D, like Octopath or Dragon Quest 3. Okay. What else? Well, I think this is bound to happen because they are remaking 1, 2, and 3. But how about Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6? Especially 5. I think 5 is the best of the trilogy and the most beloved, so that could work. Dragon Quest 5, the Nintendo DS version, you know. Parasite Eve. I don't know why I prefer a remake based on Parasite Eve. But, yeah, they're gonna change a lot of things. A remaster. Yeah, a remaster Parasite Eve. That will be. And finally, at long last, I will probably choose Final Fantasy Tactics. So I really would like to give that game a third chance. There you go. Actually, Smiling Dog. That's the one we got for today. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes and we'll start. But that's the one. You just spoiled it. Eric, you will go crazy during Steam sales. No, I wouldn't. No offense, but I'm not that type of person who just spends a lot of money on sales. I'm very picky and very specific of which games I buy, regardless of their price. No, I wouldn't go crazy. Definitely feel Final Fantasy VI could get a great HD2 remaster as well. Oh yeah, for sure. Another donation for your video game budget. It's a small one, but at least it will help when you will make another Switch RPGs recommendations like Must Play or another Hidden Gems. I'll be honest with you, I think I'm done with Hidden Gems on Switch. I've done 3 videos, and each one did worse than the one before. Then the last one was last year, part 3, and it only got like 20-something thousand views. So that's a good sign to stop. But I will continue making other videos and include Switch games that weren't in that trilogy. So of course I will. Must Play, something like that. Yeah. It's just I've done too many videos with those titles, you know. And now everybody else is doing them too. 10,000 channels came forward a couple of years ago and started doing those. Like Must Play this, Must Play that, Hidden Gems this, Hidden Gems that, Most Own, Most Collect. Yeah, come on, man. But I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. How to include more obscure games and must play games in certain other videos. I don't know, maybe I have one video for tomorrow. No, tomorrow is gonna be one of those videos where I bitch about games. But yeah. Anyway, which will you prefer to play Steam games? Steam Deck, laptop, or desktop computer? I have no preference as long as I can plug it into my TV. So I think desktop wouldn't work. Unless I have a big screen I can play there. That could work. Right? Yeah, that could work. I don't think I have a preference. Square Enix should remaster Chrono Trigger. No. Chrono Trigger should be remade in HD 2D. That's what I want. That's what I know most fans want. And that's what I know they know we want. What's your favorite JRPG cliché? Thanks, Yum Yum. But seriously, man, I've done a lot of videos with those titles. already. But there will be others, just with different titles, but there will be other videos. I mean, videos where I recommend RPGs are never going to end. Okay, you can be... You have that for sure. That's a guarantee, don't worry, man. But thanks, man. Thanks for your comment. So, I don't think I have a favorite JRPG cliche. I usually don't like cliches. Or I don't mind them. Or I don't care about them either. It's like they're there and it's okay, power of friendship, fighting God, saving the world. I mean, they're overused and I'm okay with them, but I wouldn't say, oh, these are some of my favorites. No, man. Phantasy Star 4 is 99 cents on Steam. Fucking get it, man. That's the best Phantasy Star game ever made. It's a masterpiece, one of the best 16-bit JRPGs of all time, if not the best. Well, up there with Final Fantasy VI, and Super Mario RPG. So yeah, get it. I mean, come on. Get it. Game Store has Fire Emblem Heroes. No, it's a gacha game, dude. Fire Emblem Heroes is a free-to-play gacha microtransactions game. Nothing to do with Fire Emblem Awakening. And as a result, Fire Emblem Awakening is far superior. Village burning down is my favorite cliche, says Okuni. Okay. Least favorite cliche then? Annoying little lollies. I think it's my least favorite. The ones that are like 8 years old and they're so annoying. And, I'm just... fuck, man. If you're gonna give me a lolly, give me a gothic lolly. That's better. Because they have better personalities, they aren't annoying, and they're usually smart characters. But the usual little lolly kind of idol cliche, that's the one I hate. The idol one. Forget about idols. Forget about lollies. Idol cliche. That's the one that I hate the most. The idol cliche. The idol type of character. Thanks again, Yum Yum. Man, a crap ton of donations today. That's just, wow. Great, man. He says, did you know that you are the underrated Metal Jesus Rocks when it comes to RPGs? Oh, wow. Anything you recommend something will get up in price. That's not true. Some games, and I proved it a long time ago, Eternal Poison was one of them. Some games went up in price because of me. That's true, and I'm not bragging about it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I recommended something in a video that got famous and it went up in price because of me. I mean, I don't control the market. All I do is recommend games, and if a fucking reseller or a scalper increases the price because of my video, that's their fault, and that's their problem, not mine, okay? I just want to clear that out first. But I don't think so, man. I think there's a lot of games that go up in price because they didn't print a lot of copies, or because a lot of YouTubers, not just me, recommended them, or they went by word of mouth, by fans. Even though nobody talks about them, they get up in price because a lot of fans start talking about them. I think that's what happened with Jeanne d'Arc. I did recommend Jeanne d'Arc in a few videos during my first years as a YouTuber, but I think it went up in price because thanks to word of mouth. It's one of those games. But yeah, man, don't put the blame on me, okay? I do know that some games went up in price because of me. Like Eternal Poison, I showed the evidence, a long time ago in a video. But, dude, no. Because nowadays it's not just me. Okay, maybe back in 2014, when I was maybe the only one doing JRPG top 10s, okay, maybe, right? But nowadays everybody and their mom makes JRPG videos, recommendations and shit, so yeah, come on, man. Share the blame with the others. But the underrated Metal Jesus Rocks? Wow, no one's ever called me that. I don't know what to think of that. Oh, man. Will you ever do a top 10 funniest JRPGs? Nah. I feel like most people don't care about funny JRPGs. They like comedy in JRPGs, but I'm like the ones that are like comedy, I feel like they don't take them seriously, and nah. Do you enjoy Super Robot Wars games or any fan service RPGs? Well, that's one of the best ones. Super Robot Wars has some of the best looking girls I've seen in my life. Some of them are a bit exaggerated, but others, You know, like, oh man, one of my favorites. She's one of the main characters in Super Robot Tyson Original Generation on the Game Boy Advance 1 and 2. Excellent. Just type excellent. It's spelled excellent, but without the T at the end. Excellent Super Robot Wars, and you're fucking welcome. Call me a man of culture. I am a man of culture as well. My previous desktop is sitting around collecting dust. It's capable of playing any Steam games at 1080p. I'll happily donate it to you. No, you don't have to do that, man. I think this laptop is like... This laptop right now has been causing me a lot of issues since last year. I think it's about time I make an upgrade. And a serious upgrade. So don't worry, man. Just give it some time and I'll get a better computer soon. Today we got Grandia 1 versus Wild Arms 1. Any version. Okay, Wild Arms 1 is a game you can find on your PlayStation 4 and your PlayStation 5 digital with upscale graphics. But it was originally released on the PS1 and it's also available on PS3, the digital PS3 store, PS Vita as well. Grandia 1 is the same case, but you can find the remaster. You know, it got remastered with the second one, so yeah. Any version, okay? It's Wild Arms versus Grandia. I know it's not gonna get a lot of votes. These are two kind of underrated games. They aren't as popular as the ones we've covered in previous episodes, but I feel like every now and then we should do an episode with two not so famous games, okay? And you need to clarify this in the poll. We're ranking the first two games, not the entire series. Mario RPG battle theme. We should do Mario RPG in a versus episode. Grandia 1 versus Wild Arms 1. Need to clarify that because, you know... Okay, not the series, just the first two games. There we go. Grandia is on everything today. It's not on Xbox, but there you go. I feel like Grandia is gonna win. It's just the more beloved game. Wild Arms didn't get a lot of love. 70-30. Based on 20 votes. I knew it. I knew Grandia will win. What about your arguments, people? You know me, I'm gonna leave my own argument till the end. So, there we go. Fabiano, I made a video called Where to Start in the East series. Check it out. Oh, you were asking me about Fire Emblem Warriors, not Heroes. No, Fire Emblem Warriors is a Musou action RPG. Not even an RPG, man. It's a Dynasty Warriors game. Nothing to do with Fire Emblem Awakening, which is a strategy RPG. Very different games, man. Awakening is still better because it's the grid-based mainline strategy RPG. So, yeah. Okay, Praetor, why was it the better game? Okay, we got the first comment here. Kevin Lewis says, I'll get crucified, but Grandia 1 has that coming-of-age story charm where the main character, aside from sharing a romance story with Fina, learns to grow with himself and take things to his own hand. Oh, so you like that growth, huh? That character development that Justin gets. Okay, no one's going to crucify you for that, man. I don't think so. Okay, Eduardo Barbosa says, Grandia has one of the deepest combat systems for a JRPG up to this day. As cool as Wild Arms is, it doesn't have the same impact. You know what? I agree. Yeah. If we're comparing the battle mechanics, Grandia 1 is more regional, more unique, and more compelling. Wild Arms is a bit generic. You do have the arms, but other than that, it's your everyday turn-based combat. You recommend Grandia 1 because it aged well? What, you don't think Wild Arms 1 aged well? Limited run games, huh? Fuck those guys, man. Don't buy things from those guys. Yeah, I guess you got no other choice when it comes to Grandia 1 and 2 HD. I think the only physical version is the Switch one, right? Isn't there a PlayAsia? Buy the PlayAsia version instead. Fuck the limited run games. Okuni says, Grandia has a better combat system. The characters are more alive, more of an adventure feel to it. Okay. Yeah, you have no idea, Newcom, how much I regret not including that in... I made a video like 2 years ago called 10 Things You Didn't Know About Wild Arms, the first one. And back then I didn't know that Wild Arms 1 was supposed to be a Super Nintendo RPG. I should have started with that, but I didn't anyway, so too late for that. But yeah, it's pretty much a transition point. Oh really? Grandia is on Xbox consoles? Well, there you go. Availability matters. 45 votes, Grandia 60%, Wild Arms 40%. Okay. Not that even. I think the result is obvious, like always. One of these days, I'll do one versus episode, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be... I mean, remember Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles? That was a battle. Xenoblade still won, but that was a battle. And MO95 says, Grandia really sold its epic journey vibes, with a story that has way more depth than what might seem at first. And the combat is addicting, although a bit grindy, but intended. Okay, another argument in favor of Grandia 1. Everybody remembers the Wild Arms puzzles. So Praetor says, all I remember from Wild Arms was the puzzles. Grandia has a deeper combat system, more fun leveling mechanics, better characters, better story, etc. Okay. And you own Grandia 1 and 2 remasters on Steam. Alright. They need to launch a new HD collection, but with the Wild Arms games, don't you think? Wild Arms 1 and 2 remastered, but Sony owns the rights. And who doesn't love Sony nowadays? Why? Come on, that's a good argument, Smiling Dog. I mean, you were the one who proposed these verses. You gotta do better than that. Come on, you prefer Wild Arms, but because of the OST? No. I'm not gonna read that. You do need to write a better argument. Ta-da-da! Am I lagging? If I start lagging, let me know. My hair looks like shit today. Anyway. I'm that guy who has like normal, slightly straight hair and then it starts growing curly. Curly as hell. For some reason, still alive, I think Final Fantasy IX will win because it's simply the more popular game. I want to have Xenogears against something, but I can't figure it out. Originally, it was going to be Xenogears versus Suikoden 2. But since I made a podcast episode based on Xenogears, and I also included Xenogears in a video called 10 JRPGs that surpassed my expectations. Remember that one? That was like from like a week ago, actually, that video. So I didn't want to talk about Xenogears so soon. But now that I've used Suikoden 2, I mean, I can't put it again against Xenogears so soon. Maybe I'll do it one day, but I still haven't found that. Maybe Chrono Cross against Xenogears. Who knows? Maybe, right? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Xenogears didn't age very well, and it's still stuck on the PS1 and PS3, whereas Final Fantasy IX has been remastered and it's available everywhere. So, Xenogears versus Valkyrie Profile, then again, Xenogears will win probably. Final Fantasy IX versus Trigger, Trigger will win. Have you played this game, guys? This is a strategy RPG with mechs, taking place in space, relayer, PS4, PS5, and Steam, I think. Pretty good one. And there's a demo based on this. It's one of the longest demos I've played. The longest demo I ever played in my life is Trails Through Daybreak. I can't believe it was like 9-10 hours long. Relayer's demo is like at least 6 hours long. So definitely check it out. Download the demo, at least. Lunar versus Grandia. Which one has more charm? I guess Grandia. It's a bit more original. Lunar, I always felt the story progression and characters were a bit generic. But it's pretty charming nonetheless. Yeah, enough with the Chrono Trigger versus Cross. Yeah. Yeah, Relayer's a pretty good game. It's no masterpiece, but it's a pretty good game. Come on, people, I'm waiting for more arguments. Yeah, Grandia 1 is gonna win by a landslide. The robot with waifus game? Well, yeah. We were just listening to Puppeteer, right? We're listening to Puppeteer music, that's right. Persona will win, man. Persona will always win against Shin Megami Tensei, unfortunately. Love it how a lot of people left because they don't care about the Versus series. Jesus. Okay, now I'm gonna read the whole thing, Smiling Dog. So Smiling Dog says, despite I know that Grandia 1 will win by a landslide, as expected, but to be honest and to my heart, Wild Arms is one of my favorite JRPGs to me, especially in OST. An argument in favor of the music. And he continues saying, to me, despite of its generic battle system, to be honest, Wild Arms have some great characters, awesome soundtrack, and quite a unique setting that took place in the Wild West setting. Yes, that's correct. There's barely any JRPGs out there with a Wild West setting. That's because that thing doesn't exist in Japan, so the developers were inspired by the United States of America's movies, the USA movies, and Pulp Fiction maybe. Not the movie, the genre. Tetsu18 says, I like Wild Arms better. It was one of my first JRPGs, so maybe that's why. But I like the story and characters better, plus the OST is pretty awesome. Yeah, and don't forget, it's pretty unique. Michiko Naruke, the composer, she was a big fan of Ennio Morricone, the composer of the classic Wild West composer, right? From The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood movies, yeah, that's right. So he composed most of the Sergio Leone's movies. So don't forget that not only the OST in Wild Arms is great, it's also pretty unique. Just like the setting. I mean, you rarely find any JRPGs or even RPGs in general with that kind of setting. That's pretty original. Resonance of Fate versus The Last Remnant, fuck both. Both games can kiss my ass. Another person praising the setting. But yeah, I mean, look at this. 64 versus 36%. Grandia 1 is gonna win by a landslide. The outcome's being decided. This game has a great soundtrack. The Dollars Trilogy? Is that a movie? Trilogy? Wild West? You should do a versus based on what JRPGs you regret playing, like The Last Remnant. I don't regret playing a single JRPG in my life, not even Time and Eternity, because it gave me something to talk about. They gave me games to review and top 10s or reviews in general. Playing JRPGs, good or bad, they give me content for my YouTube channel, so I don't regret playing a single one of them. Not even Tracia, man. I haven't streamed Tracia in my worst JRPGs ever live streams. Maybe soon. Did you like Ys Origin? I loved Ys Origin, and I think people consider it as average, probably because it has no party members and because you don't play as adult Christian. Maybe that's why, but I think it's a phenomenal game. Easily an A tier type of game. At the very least an 8 out of 10. Erick suffers through bad games for our entertainment. That's right, Terry. Alondra versus Brave Fencer Musashi. I never finished either, so I don't think I will ever do that. And those games are really, really obscure anyway. So how many people have voted so far? 58? Oh, okay, we're almost there. Just a little bit more and I'll start my arguments. Anybody else would like to say something? Threats of Fate versus Brave. I'm about to cover Threats of Fate tomorrow in a video. Spoiler alert. You know, I never understood why some games came in like these big cases when they only have one disc. Like this one has 2 discs, Grandia, but Wild Arms only has 1 disc. Like why make it like this? You know, my copy comes with this thing. Like, look, there's nothing here. Why spend more money in a double case when you only have 1 disc? That's weird with that Sony. Joshua Dilly, thanks a bunch, man. He says, I really enjoy the tier ranking videos. I haven't done one of those in a while. Well, I did the Game Boy Advance tier list this year. I think it was back in February or March. Did you watch that one? That was pretty cool. I'd like to do one on the Nintendo DS. I've never done a tier list video on the Nintendo DS. Maybe I'll do one this year. Well, yeah, Newcomb says Wild Arms came out 5 months before Final Fantasy VII, which skyrocketed the JRPG genre in the US. So Grandia 1 coming after Final Fantasy VII, it has more popularity. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII kinda crushed Wild Arms, I've said this before. It's not a good idea to release your JRPG doing this around the same time as anything major. And 5 months seems like a lot of time nowadays. It works, but back in the day it was nothing, considering the very small amount of JRPGs we were getting back then. So yeah, therefore Grandia is more popular. Mystery Kid says, Grandia has better battle system, better world, that adventurous feel you get while exploring the world, better art style. Okay. I think a lot of YouTubers say the same thing about Grandia. And therefore, no offense, but I feel like a lot of people merely regurgitate what they say. Like nobody was saying that before. Like Grandia, adventurous style. I mean, there's a lot of adventure in Wild Arms too, but whatever, if that's your argument, I respect that. Wow, that's an interesting argument. Grandia 1 is better than Wild Arms 2, but Wild Arms as a series beats Grandia? Why? Because it has more games? I mean, there are more games in Grandia. I mean, there are more games in Wild Arms. Wild Arms has 6 games. We are not gonna count the mobile game, please. That doesn't exist. 6 games, and Grandia only has 4. 5, actually, if you count the one that never came out of Japan. Parallel Trippers, something like that, yeah. Yes, I did play Terra Enigma. Never finished it because my ROM stopped working, but it's a good game. The instruction manual was big. That's why the Wild Arms case is bigger. I don't think that's true, but... Oh, Terry, you should definitely play Wild Arms 5. That's my favorite, and the battle system is a blast. Freaking blast. Well, here I go. 60 votes. Should we wait a little bit more? No, that's enough. I don't think it's gonna change. I mean, it's over. Where are the results? What the fuck? There we go. It only took a while. Grandia won. Haha, won. 60 votes. So okay, the poll is over and Grandia won with 63%. Wild Arms 1 lost with 37%. Have you noticed that it always makes a mistake in here? Like there's 1% missing whenever I close the poll or I end the poll. There's only 1% missing. Why is it only 99%? Anyway, so Grandia 1 won. I expected Grandia 1 to win merely because it's more popular and because it's available on more modern systems and because it got a proper remaster, whereas Wild Arms 1 only got this port with upscale graphics on PS4 and 5. That's all Sony did with it. I think the competition would have been a lot more fierce had Wild Arms 1 received the same treatment as Grandia 1. So Grandia 1 was always going to win because it's just the more popular game and it seems to be very beloved by the internet nowadays, more so than Wild Arms 1. So okay. I'm having a lot of time deciding. To be completely honest, I don't know which game I like the more. But I'm gonna have to pick... I know this is a trend with me, but I don't do it on purpose, you know. But I tend to choose the underdog, not because it's the underdog, but because I think Wild Arms, while it's not the better game, I think Grandia is the better game, more complete, more fulfilling, more characters, more party members, more story, more adventures feels than Wild Arms. But Wild Arms is such a unique game. There's no other games like it except the rest of the series, and it's a bit more mature. I understand the appeal of Grandia 1 and, you know, the growth the character Justin gets from being an immature, funny, bratty little kid growing up just a bit, you know. I understand that, and I love the heck out of Fina and Sue. I love Sue. Who doesn't love Sue? I love her. But Wild Arms is a bit more serious, a bit more mature. Sure, it focuses more on Cecilia and on... We're pretty much the bad guys, and everything that happens in Wild Arms focuses more on Cecilia than the other two characters. But still, you know, I think the story is a little bit more interesting and more compelling for me, but only because it's a bit more mature. You do have the power of friendship, party, fighting powerful enemies, and maybe not exactly fighting God, but still. It's just a more appealing story. But unfortunately, I can't make a better argument than that. Because neither of these games, in my opinion, have a killer story. Unlike some of the games we've covered in previous episodes, neither of these games has a top tier level of story. No, it doesn't. It's a good story in both games, but that's about it. So that's all I'm gonna say about the story and characters. When it comes to graphics, I think they're on equal terms. I believe Grandia 1 has more colorful graphics and better visuals when it comes to colors. But I think Wild Arms beats it because you don't have an annoying camera and you don't have those annoying camera angles. And it just doesn't... I mean, the original versions, Grandia 1 had some technical issues. Wild Arms didn't. So that's another point in favor of Wild Arms. The sprites are much more beautiful on Grandia 1, I'll give you that. The pixel art is much better in Grandia. Because in Wild Arms, they are actually they're 3D models. They are not 3D models in the overworld, but in battle they are 3D models. And they look like, I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's one point in favor of Grandia. So battle mechanics, Grandia wins by a landslide because of its originality, because of its uniqueness, because it kind of influenced the market. There's been a lot of RPGs influenced by the Grandia series. One really popular one, it's called Child of Light. which was pretty much the battle mechanics were influenced by the Grandia games. So there you have it. And Wild Arms, the combat system is a bit generic. Sure, you have the arms and you gotta reload your gun and whatnot, but everything else is just your standard attack, item, defend, and that's it, right? So there's nothing special about the battle system, but I still like it. I still like it a lot. And when it comes to music, I think both games are on the same level. I love both soundtracks. I'm a big fan of certain tunes and themes that I've used in a lot of videos from these two games. But I gotta give preference to Wild Arms because, again, its uniqueness. Because it tried to be different, because it took some Wild West elements, some Ennio Morricone elements, and it turned out to be very original. Despite the game having some science fiction elements and some sci-fi tunes, the battle system sounds nothing like a Wild West theme, but the music is a little bit more unique and special, right? And that's it. To be honest, I don't think Wild Arms is the better game. I literally believe Grandia 1 is the better game here, but I gotta go with Wild Arms because I tend to give preference to originality and to uniqueness a little bit more. Despite Grandia having a unique battle system, that's the only unique thing about it. Everything else is more, Wild Arms has more unique features to it, but that's about it. This is a solid, I prefer Wild Arms, that's my pick, but it's so hard to decide which one is. Damn. I'm glad it's over. Yeah, so Wild Arms is my pick, guys, but Grandia 1 is like a really extremely close second. The poll was a comparison between both games as a product of our own personal preference, pretty much. Polls are always like that. It's based on your preference. You get to vote for any game you want, with no consequence whatsoever. You're also glad it's over. It was hard to choose. Right. So that's it, guys. Yes, Newcomb. Wild Arms was supposed to come to the Super Nintendo, but it was moved to the PlayStation 1. That's the story. It was supposed to be a Super Nintendo RPG. It also wins because of that. No, seriously, this is just, for example, the one we did with Suikoden 2 versus The Legend of Dragoon, that was Suikoden 2 by me. That was my pick. No questions asked. Won by a landslide for me personally. Dragon Quest 8 versus Final Fantasy 12 was also kind of obvious. I think I prefer 12. Maybe 10 more times more than Dragon Quest 8, yeah. But this, to me, Wild Arms versus Grandia was just like when we did Nier Automata and Xenoblade Chronicles. It was like, man, what the hell am I gonna choose here? Anyway. What's the hardest Grandia in Wild Arms? Hardest Grandia is called Grandia Extreme on the PS2. And hardest Wild Arms is definitely 5. Which is so happy. Oh no! Crossfire! XF. Crossfire on the PSP. That wins by a landslide. It's impossibly hard. Really hard, man. Hardest Wild Arms ever. But out of the main games, because that's supposed to be a spin-off, out of the main games, 5 will be the hardest. Yeah, it's pretty grindy. Pretty damn difficult. Grandia 3 is also pretty damn hard. What are the rules for picking which games you put against each other? I don't have time to explain that. I think I've explained this before in previous episodes. When we did the first 2 episodes, I explained how it works. Nobody talks about Wild Arms 4 and 5 because they aren't available anywhere. They are exclusive to the PlayStation 2. Barely any copies were printed. They were published by Exit Games, and Exit Games was a very small company back then. We miraculously got Wild Arms 4 and 5, man. They're pretty obscure games. That's why nobody talks about them. Right. So that's it, guys. I gotta go. This is it for the Q&A. I had a blast. Thanks a lot for the donation. Special thanks to Alex Tokash and Newcomb. Wow, you guys made my day. It's a lot of money. That was the last day. That's my last day of June. So I'll see tomorrow how I did in the entire month when it comes to Erick and Landon RPG, and that includes your donations. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel, everybody. And I don't know what the future is for the Versus episodes when it comes to videos on my main channel, but you bet your ass we will continue making this series here in the Q&As for a long time. More episodes to come. Whether they'll be turned into videos or not, I don't know if they will continue to be turned into videos, but we'll see. Okay? But you can expect a Versus episode every goddamn Q&A, every goddamn Sunday. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Take care and see you next time.